Welcome to the Unit 2 discussion of Week 5. In this unit, we will try to discuss various forms of designing multiple choice questions. So, essentially, there are 7 forms of MCQs, and we will try to discuss each of them through some examples. So, we have single selection, multiple selection, true, false, assertion reasoning, match the following, stimulus based, and sequence based. But each of these questions, probably the nature of these questions are such that they can be automatically evaluated, and also these are more objective in nature because there is only one correct answer. So let us look into the first kind of multiple choice question, which is single selection. I think this is the most frequently used multiple choice question. So this is a programming example, C programming example of single selection question. So the question is, how many times NPTEL will get printed? Okay, and then there is a program, and this student should understand that how this program is written, and then try to reach to the output. Okay, so the right answer is 0 times, and now we understand that in a multiple choice question there is a key and then there are distractors. So 5, 6 and 11 are distractors, and you will see that each of these distractors are actually catching students' misconception. So 0 is the right answer because we know that the printf statement is not reachable because the continue skips to the next iteration when x is less than 5. And this will lead to break or exit the loop when x is greater than equal to 5. So, which means NPTEL will get printed 0 times. Okay. However, 5, 6 and 11 are also plausible distractors. So, 5 is mostly chosen by the students who think that printing happens for values x is equal to 0 to 4. And ignoring the effect of the statement continue. Similarly, students, those who are choosing 6 times, probably they are assuming that printing occurs from x is equal to -1 to 4. Okay, so probably they do not understand, or there is a misunderstanding related to the loop flow. Similarly, the 11 times option is selected by the students who think that the loop runs fully from 1 to 10, because that is the condition given in the for loop, and it prints every time, ignoring both the continue and the break statements. So you see that each of the distractors are actually catching students' misconception. But the more important aspect is this is a example of a single selection multiple choice question. So only one right answer. Now looking into the second form of MCQ, which is multiple selection. So in this case, there can be more than one right answer. So the question says a power transmission line shows higher losses than expected. Which of the following factors could contribute to this issue? Okay, and then there are 4 responses. So out of 4, 3 are right. Okay, and the option which is incorrect, that is also helping us to catch students' misconception. So basically, from this question, it is very clear that we are talking about the equation I square R. Okay, and if you see the first option, increase in line resistance due to temperature rise. So definitely this is a right answer, because if the resistance increases, that means if you see the formula I square R, the resistance is increasing, definitely the losses will increase. So 1 is the right answer. If you see the second one, poor power factor at the load end, this is also a very important real world consideration, because we know that more current is required to supply the load, and since the losses depend on the current squared, and therefore poor power factor will basically lead to higher current, and higher current will basically lead to higher losses. So even second is the right answer. Now if you see the third one, which is option 3, now this is catching a very important misconception. At a first glance, probably we think that this is a right answer, but please remember that the voltage is increased, but for the same power demand, probably the current will decrease, and if the current decreases, I square R will decrease, and therefore the losses will also decrease. So definitely 3 is the incorrect answer. And if we see the fourth one, skin effect at higher frequencies. So basically, what are we trying to say? That reduced effective cross-sectional area, and therefore the effective resistance increases, and if we again substitute it in the formula of I square R, the losses will increase. Okay. Now in this case, there are more than one correct answer, and therefore you can say that probably such questions are belong to higher order thinking skills as compared to single selection question. So if you want to design a HOTS level question, probably it is advisable to use multiple selection question instead of single selection question. So this question is more complex and more difficult as compared to single selection. The third form of multiple choice question is true false. So there are only 2 options, and we know that if we have 2 options, there is 50% probability of guessing the right answer. But anyway, sometimes this kind of questions are also very important. So the question reads, increasing the depth of a beam always increases its bending strength regardless of material or cross-sectional shape. Okay. So we know that the right answer is false. And why? Because we know that it might happen that say we have a very shallow beam and it is made of a high strength steel. So it may have a greater bending strength than a deeper beam made of a weaker material. Okay. So what does that mean? That 2 beams with the same depth but different shapes, it can be rectangular or it can be I section, can have very different bending strength, right? So the right answer is false here. So sometimes we have seen that in this particular concept also students have certain misconception. Moving to the fourth kind of multiple choice question, which is assertion reasoning. Okay, even assertion reasoning questions are of can be used for assessing higher order thinking skills, and mostly if we want to assess analytical ability or if we want to assess the application ability, it is advisable to choose assertion reasoning type MCQs. Okay. So what is the question reading? The assertion is a transformer cannot operate with DC supply. Okay. While the reason is DC does not produce a changing magnetic flux in the core. Okay. Now, the options for assertion reasonings are always standard, right? So, you have the first option will be both assertion and reason are true and the reason explains assertion. The second will be assertion and reason are true but R does not explain A. The third is assertion is true and reason is false. The fourth is assertion is false and the reason is true. So, always there will be these 4 standard kind of options. So, one way, if we try to consider the single selection or multiple selection, I think we spend lot of time in designing the plausible distractors, but in this case, that particular aspect is not there because the options will always remain the same. Here, the more challenging aspect is to identify the assertion and the reason, and especially in all engineering subjects, we will have plenty of assertion and reason, and I think this kind of a form gives us that opportunity to assess analytical ability and at the same time minimize our effort in designing distractors. So, basically in this question, we know that a transformer works with electromagnetic induction, and this requires changing magnetic flux to induce voltage in the secondary winding. and we know that DC is constant. Okay, and it cannot create changing magnetic flux. So definitely our assertion is true. If we look into the reason, so what does reason states? That it does not produce a changing magnetic flux in the core. So even this is correct because DC does not produce. Okay, and we know that how the reason is explaining the assertion, because the core reason a transformer cannot work with DC is the need for changing magnetic flux, and that is probably not possible through a DC kind of a setup. Moving to the fourth form of multiple choice question, which is match the following. So this is a very simple kind of a structure. You have column A and you have column B, and student are required to match the column A aspect to column B. But in this one point which need to be considered is that whatever we are keeping in column A and column B should belong to the same concept or similar or the same course outcome. So sometimes it is also observed that we end up designing a multiple choice question where all these aspects in column A and column B are from different concepts or from different course outcomes, and basically it adds to the cognitive load of the students. So it is always advisable to select something from a similar concept. So in this case, it is all related to the circuit behavior, be it skin effect, be it thermal runaway, hysteresis or parasitic capacitance. These are all related to circuit behavior, and therefore we can choose to club them together in a match the following question. So basically match the following question also, the time or the effort to design distractors is minimized. So you see you have 4 multiple choice questions here, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 can be considered as 4 multiple choice question, but the distractors and the options remains the same for all the 4 MCQs. So even this is a very teacher friendly kind of a MCQ. The next is stimulus based. So by stimulus we mean it can be a diagram, it can be a table, it can be any kind of a data, it can be a concept map, it can be a flow chart, it can be a schematic diagram. So there can be various kinds of stimulus. So basically stimulus helps to stimulate students' thinking, right? So in this case we have taken or considered a table. Okay, so a 3-phase transmission line supplies power to 3 different loads. The measured parameters are given below. So what is student expected to do? Student use this data and identify which of the following statements are correct. Okay, now you see 2 kinds of multiple choice questions are combined here. The stimulus is added, so it's a stimulus based question. Also it is not a single correct multiple choice question, right? It is not a single selection multiple choice question. It is a multiple selection. So you have more than one correct answer for this particular question. Okay. Now we know that we have a formula for the line current of 3-phase system. So basically, if the student understand that formula, student will be able to reach to the right answer. And in this case also, option B and option D are correct, while option A and option C are incorrect. But in this case also, having such kind of a setup helps us in catching students' misconception, and also you can see that if we use a stimulus, we are able to assess higher cognitive abilities of the students. The last form of multiple choice question is sequence based. Now we know that in our engineering subjects there are lots of processes that are discussed. So one way is to ask an open-ended question or a constructed response question where we expect students to describe the process. Okay, but if you want to assess the same course outcome through a multiple choice question, probably we can use sequence based MCQs. So in this case, you can see that as the question reads, the 4-stroke engine operates in a specific sequence of strokes. Arrange the strokes in the correct order for one complete cycle. Okay, so the right answer is intake. The piston moves down, drawing some air fuel mixture into the cylinder, and then probably the second step is compression. So after the piston moves down, piston basically moves up in this particular step, compressing the mixture for efficient combustion. The third is power stroke. So here we know that the spark plug ignites the mixture, and again the piston is pushed down, and then the last is exhaust, when the piston moves up again and the gases are basically expelled. So we know that this is the kind of a process that that happens for a 4-stroke engine. So if the student understands the sequence of the process, students will be able to respond to this question correctly. So to summarize, in this unit, we have discussed about 7 forms of MCQs, and we have also discussed about the advantages and the disadvantages of each of these MCQs in terms of the kind of cognitive abilities that each of these MCQ can assess, or the merit or the demerit of each of these type. For example, we know that the probability of guessing is more in case of true false. Similarly, we know that one of the merit of assertion reasoning is to save some time as far as designing distractor is concerned. So I hope this kind of a discussion will help you design variety of MCQs for your question paper. And in our next unit now, we will look into the other kind of questions, which is supply type items, and we also call it as constructed response questions. So we will look more into those kind of questions in our next unit.